Yes, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. Do please like and subscribe and leave your comments. And I'm going to put a link below to a video that deals with the case I'm about to discuss. The case has been requested by somebody who left a note on my comments section on my thing about an innocent young girl, relatively innocent young girl, aged 14 years of age, because we've been talking about grooming gangs, and this is about an incident concerning a grooming gang in the town of Blackpool, noted for fresh air and fun. But this is not about fun. This is about a child aged 14 years of age called Charlene Downes. Now, Charlene Downes came from a somewhat dysfunctional family. It was under the observations of the social services, because the father, Robert, apparently was somewhat of a frequenter of public houses, and he used to take people home to his house in Blackpool who were convicted perverts, sex offenders. And it is believed by social services that Charlene Downes was actually being exploited by these perverts who were visiting her home. So she was considered to be at risk. Well, she was considered to be at risk at home, and she was currently on expulsion from her school for some minor misdemeanor, and she was in 2003 due to go back to school. And apparently she did quite like the social side of being at school, so she wasn't against going back to school. She actually wanted to go to school. Now, I've researched this, not particularly well, but I've got my opinions about what happened, and I'll discuss it without naming the names, other than the main individual, Charlene Downes. She went out with friends one evening in late 2003 and was last seen at approximately 9:30 p.m. on one of the piers at Blackpool, where she was. That was the last sighting of Charlene Downes. Now, time passed, and her parents reported her missing. The police said on the first contact she's been missing 24 hours. We believe that she may be coming back, so speak to us again in another 24 hours. So the police had already lost 24 hours by taking that step. Subsequently, her parents did again approach the police and say that we're very concerned she hasn't returned, and they did begin to make enquiries, to no avail. Apparently, it transpired later that the police believed she was a runaway, that she'd actually run away from home due to the fact that there had been certain issues there, as evidenced by social services. However, years passed, some 6-7 years passed, and evidence came out that two men had actually been discussing the killing of Charlene Downes, and the story they were telling, which was recorded on tapes, by the way, was that she had been sexually assaulted by them, had been indulging in sex with them at the age of 14, but she'd been apparently involved with these two people for the last 12 months. So she'd started when she was 13, 12, 13, that area, and that she was being plied with food from there. They owned a takeaway kebab shop, and these two individuals were luring girls into the kebab shops. Apparently there's a number of people in this grooming and abusing ring in the immediate area, and that girls were being lured into the takeaways and plied with free food and alcohol and drugs, and were being sexually abused and exploited by the gangs. And Charlene was one of these, although it was not known to her parents. In the tapes, it was heard that the two men discussing this were explaining how they had disposed of the body of Charlene Downes. It seems that they were claiming that, or stating that they had killed the girl and run her body through the meat grinder in the kebab shop and turned the remains of the child, the body of the child, into kebab meat, which they had subsequently sold in the shops. Charming, eh? Talk about Sweeney Todd. Anyway, that's the police had hold of these tapes and used a detective sergeant to actually transcribe them, which was done in a certain manner, and the Crown Prosecution Service brought charges against these two men, who were taken to Crown Court, where the jury was unable to reach a verdict. It later transpired that a member of the jury was actually friends with a member of the family of one of the men that was charged, and that one of the brothers of one of the men charged had been stalking the members of the jury and intimidating them. Nonetheless, this was all to come out sometime after the case, which was tied because there was no verdict, and therefore the case was stood down. But another date was set for a retrial. But the retrial never happened because it was found that the transcription of the tapes and the tapes themselves were unfit to be used as evidence. Now, my experience of dealing with certain influential groups in society is that they have the authority, and the way that they cover up is what I believe this was. The way they cover it up is by cooking the evidence, making the evidence so mistaken that it cannot be used against those that are charged, or if it is used against those that were charged, it is subsequently proved to be inadmissible. Which this was the case with the two men that were charged, but they were members of this grooming gang in Blackpool, and it was later transpired that there was over 60 girls in the area that had been exploited, sexually abused and tormented by these two individuals and their fellow travellers. And both of these were of a certain ethnic minority group, as were the rest of the grooming gang. Now you're going to say to yourself, what on earth is happening here? I mean, whatever happened to Charlene Downes? Because years have passed and nobody's ever actually discovered exactly what happened to Charlene Downes. It's a disgraceful state of affairs. Now, I was asked to have a look at this case, and I've had a look at it, and I'll put a link below to one of the other videos discussing this case. Both the parents of Charlene Downes, Robert and Karen, I believe the name was, were members of the English Defence League. That's an ultra right wing movement, but they seem to me to be somewhat intellectually challenged. I'm not being critical about people who are not exceptionally bright, but they did seem to me from having seen interviews, that they were not entirely aware of what was going on. They should have been, and they should have had their daughter's best interests at heart. Anyway, as for the two men that were charged, and no verdict was found, and the evidence was proved to be suspect and unable to be actually processed because of various aspects of the way it had been treated, they were awarded, believe this or not, £250,000 each as compensation. That's nice, isn't it? Doesn't it make you proud to be British? So that's the little case I have to talk about today about Charlene Downes. But a bit of good news today. Donald Trump got convicted, sentenced, having been found guilty by a jury of 34 counts of felonies, fraud and deceiving the public, and virtually usual script, you know. Anyway, Donald J. Trump is now a convicted felon. So somebody asked me to vote for my scumbag of the week. Donald J. Trump. My scumbag of the week. He's talking about invading Canada, Panama. He's talking about buying or invading Greenland. I wouldn't trust that man to walk my dog round pond. I'm going to sing to you now, so you've had your warning. That's the song, dinger. If you're hanging around now, you know what to expect. And seeing, as I've got my tinted glasses on here, and it's the week of Elvis Presley's birthday. He was born on the 8th of January. And today being the 10th of January, we're still celebrating, folks. Happy birthday, Elvis, the king of rock and roll. And this is one of my favourite songs. I mean, obviously I'm starting to talk like the king now. Yeah, I tell you, I once had some, what they call it, a space cake. Yeah, I don't know what it was. Somebody gave it to me at a party. They said, you're going to have one of these, John. Go on then. I didn't know what it was. No effect. Nothing. Didn't feel a damn thing. Only when I got up the next day, I had a meeting with the bank manager. And I went in, I never thought nothing about space cakes, nothing. But when I went in and started talking to the bank manager, instead of talking normally as I am speaking now, it sounded something like this. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. I couldn't get the words out. Strange effect. That was the only thing. That's the only time I've ever had one of them damn things. I'm not touching them again, I'm telling you. Anyway, I'm going to sing you a song now, so hanging around, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Comments, insults, all the rest down below. Suggestions, as you've seen, I do follow the suggestions. And today's case was the very sad case of Charlene Downes, who disappeared aged 14 years of age in the year 2003. I don't know. Where did she go? Did she turn into a kebab? That's the theory. So I'm going to sing you now. It's a song by Elvis. It's All Shook Up. No, I'm not going to sing All Shook Up. I did that the other day, didn't I? I'm going to do I Got Stung. I've actually got this on 78. Are you ready? Holy smoke, a couple snakes alive. I never thought this could happen to me. Oh yeah. I got stung by a sweet honey bee. Oh, what a feeling came over me. It started in my eyes, caught up to my head, flew to my heart, till I was stung dead. I'm done. I got stung. Oh, yeah. She had all that I wanted and more, and I've seen honeybees before. She started buzzing in my ear, buzzing in my brain, got stung all over, but I feel no pain, I'm done. I got stung. But now don't think I'm a complaining, well, I'm mighty pleased we met. But you give me one little peck on the back of my neck, and I break out in a cold, cold sweat. Well, if I live to 102, I won't let nobody sting me but you. I'll be buzzing round your hive every day at 5, and I'm never gonna leave once I arrive, because I'm done. I got stung. I don't think I'm a complaining. Well, I'm mighty pleased we met. Boo, give me one little peck on the back of my neck, and I break out in a cold, cold sweat. Well, if I live to 102, I won't let nobody sting me but you. I'm buzzing round your hive every day at 5, and I'm never gonna leave once I arrive, because I'm done. I got stung. Oh, yeah. There you go. And if you enjoyed that, if you did, then we'll meet again on the Sick Parade, Monday morning, 9 a.m. You got an arse full of largactyl, that should cure you. Tales from the jails.